How are you?
I'm so excited to finally get to chat with you. I think I've been following you for 2 years.
I know.
You look so pretty. I love your hair.
Oh God, thanks. Just like, meh. I was just arguing with people on TikTok. I'm like, I gotta go.
I have to
go. How are you? How's your day going?
Good. Are we starting?
Oh, and you're more than welcome to smoke during this if you would like.
Okay, great.
This is not TikTok.
Yeah, we're safe here.
Yeah, we don't ban anyone.
Perfect.
Well, we could. Now's the time.
Oh yeah, so at the beginning of our all of our episodes, we both have a Da Vinci, not to be like little brats or anything.
Oh, nice. I got a carrot.
Oh, what are you smoking on?
This is some Insane in the Membrane, and then because I usually get really bad anxiety, then I just have some CBD. So
nice.
From Green Unicorn Farm Sour Space Candy. So.
Oh, is that a CBD company?
Yeah.
And we can order that online?
Yeah. It's literally Green Unicorn Farms. I don't have a code or anything. I just generally like them.
Yeah.
It's the best CBD flower that I've ever smoked in my life. Granted, I'm sure there's plenty of companies I haven't tried.
Yeah.
I know there's plenty of companies I haven't tried, but this one is
Green Unicorn Farm.
Yeah.
I am the same as you. Any strain, no matter if it's hybrid, indica, if it's too high of THC, it's going to give me anxiety.
Yeah.
I do think that it's partially because I don't like feeling out of control anymore.
Yeah.
Create my own little salad because some of the strains, they're only good for one thing or another thing, and this is not our prescription meds. I can mix and match.
Right
Okay. Nothing will happen to me. I think that's one of my favorite things about using cannabis for my mental health instead of the Zoloft and other shit.
You can just make a nice little cocktail of
different
flowers and products and
So if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers and just a little bit where they can find you. I know you have a shop, I believe, too.
Yeah, I'm so bad at promoting it, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, girl, same. I also have a whole LLC merch line. Never tell anyone. I wear my own stuff. But
I know. Why?
I don't know. We should send each other stuff.
We should. We really should. Because it's I'll sit there with a code. Well, okay. Hi, my name is Tara, and I'm on IG as Cannamindul. And then I also have a 420 recovery page that's just at 420 recovery. And then you were talking about, I do have a little shop that's at gracious_concepts. So those are the 3 IG pages I have. But what you were saying, it's I will rep anybody else's company. I will, do whatever. But it's when it comes to myself, I don't know why I'm so bad at it. I don't know why. It's I feel uncomfortable. I just feel weird about it. I don't know why.
Same. I actually have worked in sales for a long time. I used to work in high-end luxury retail and used to have to convince people to buy $300, $400, $800 handbags. And I can't even sell my own $50 sweater because I'm is $50 too much money? I don't want to spend a lot of money on a sweater, and I don't know, should I tell people about it? And it's so bad.
Right there with you.
So maybe we should send each other some stuff to promote for each other.
Yeah, that'd be easier probably.
Yeah, because then we would totally hype each other up.
And then my senior year is when I started getting into opiates. So like I graduated in 2003 from high school. So that's like right when like Oxycontin was really, really big. And, you know, back then, like my mom was super strict. Okay. So if I came home smelling like alcohol, you know, I'd get in trouble. But then the first night that I did an oxy, like I sniffed one, I was wrecked out of my mind. I came home. My mom did like, she was like a human breathalyzer. She's like, would always stand at the door and like pretend that she was hugging me, but then she'd really like, and I came home wrecked and I didn't get in trouble because she couldn't smell anything. And then like that was really why I even got into opiates in the first place. Cause like I loved getting, we can swear, right?
Yeah.
Like I love like getting drunk and you know, that was a way to get fucked up and not get in trouble. And then, you know, I mean, it eventually turned into shooting heroin, which I didn't plan on that happening, obviously.
Yeah, none of us do.
Yeah, it just really started off as, but the more I got into pills and other stuff, like I really didn't spend money on weed because I just, you know, it just wasn't there. The finances, it's like the drug that I'm physically addicted to or weed. Obviously, I'm going to pick the, you know, the drug. So I didn't smoke for a while. And then up like my, you know, I was going back and forth like in and out of detoxes and programs and all this stuff, because obviously you can't smoke weed and any of those things. And in the recovery community, it's starting to be accepted more now. But back when I was trying to get clean, it really, really wasn't.
Whatever pill, really, because pills were rampant in Florida. Like we had like
Pill
the
mills.
other coast. Yeah, the other coast was literally, we would get like bags of them. I remember a friend got a quarter gallon Ziploc bag filled with Xanax.
Wow.
It was the white bar ones, like crazy. And then I got to a point where I kept overdosing and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to die. Maybe I should stop this. And I did stop, but I got really sick and I was abusing the methadone wafers. And so no one would they would be like, here's a Benadryl to help you with your detox. And one of the person, like the tech at like a little institution down here that has like mental health programs, they were like, why don't you try a little bit of weed and it might help you.
So a professional place actually recommended weed?
Like jokingly, like sarcastically. But I didn't have anything else. Yeah, I didn't have anything else to like help me. So I remember going home. I didn't even smoke weed because I also was just like priorities. I need the pills first. Like I don't give a shit about weed. Then I remember I even had a Band-Aid on my hand from the IV still, and I was trying to go get more Percocets and hydrocodone. So yeah, it was really like you start smoking cannabis or you potentially die. Yeah. And I did start smoking cannabis and it helped with the nausea, the throwing up, the shitting my brains out, because detox is not a fucking joke. And it was like over like 15 years. I was like really young. Okay. I'm like a teenager, little baby detoxing from all that shit. And I was like 16, I guess. And I'm like 33 now. And I still remember how fucking bad it was. Yeah. So yeah, I have like a very similar beginning story to you. And same thing, NA and AA. Where like if you smoke weed, that is marijuana maintenance plan.
That's what they call it.
And
marijuana maintenance plan.
Yeah, like I used to like think that like when I was first in the rooms, like I used to be, and I hate it, but I used to be one of those people like,
same.
You smoke weed, like you're not in real.
You're not sober.
Yeah, like I'm better than you because back then, you know, you're told in the rooms that like if you have any sort of mind altering substance, that it's going to set off that phenomenon of craving, and then you're going to be back to the races and you're going to have no control. Like they really take away like that power of of any choice, which I mean, I understand that when you are in active addiction, you don't have the power of choice. Like I've literally been driving to the dope dealer crying because I don't want to get high, but I don't know how to not get high.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, it really is just one of those things that you're like, I always say it's like a parasite. It's like, it was my body, but it wasn't me driving, you know, like it was, and I know that sounds like a cop out to a lot of people.
No,
but
I understand.
that really is like addiction in a nutshell, you know, like you really don't, even when my husband got out of prison, so my husband did 9.5 years, and when he got out of prison, we like, life was just really hard sorry, to like put our lives back together, so we did what we know best, you know what I mean, and we got high. And his brother, who has since passed away in overdose, actually gave us 2 things of Narcan, and he was like, just please be safe. Okay. Had he not given us those, I probably would be dead. I mean, I've overdosed a few times, but my husband had to hit me with both of those. He had to call 911, and he literally had the phone in his hand when I came to, he would have been back to prison. You know what I mean? Like, just so many things would have been so bad. But do you know what I did after? Because I woke up in the freaking bathtub of like in my clothes, like he was like dragging me in there. And you know what I did after I cleaned my clothes? I fucking Googled how long it would be, like how long I should wait to get high again after having Narcan. Like,
yeah.
Is there like a time?
Yeah.
What happens if you were to use
You don't
too soon?
get high.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You just like don't get high when you're hit with Narcan. What's that guy's name? Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
So he was talking shit about, because he's also in recovery. He's an alcoholic. He was talking shit about Demi Lovato using cannabis to get clean from heroin, and she said like, it's your journey. If cannabis is going to trigger you and make you use again, then no, this is not for you. You need some sound bowls or meditation or whatever. But you can't sit there and say that someone else's journey that's keeping them alive is not working for them because you're not living their journey. Wow, you're literally shitting on their whole journey to keep them alive. Like that's just to keep us alive.
Right. Literally right before I got on here, I was having a, you know, internet fight with somebody who said they like made like several comments, and one of them was, eventually you're going to relapse. The second one was, the people, because you know in the program it says like, those rarely have we seen a person fail who have thoroughly followed our past. Those who have like basically been unable to be honest with themselves. I don't remember the exact thing, but so they're saying that, you know, the reason the program didn't work for me was because I couldn't get honest with myself. And the thing is, I'm sober today because I did get honest with myself. You know what I mean? I said, this shit is not working for me. And if I, like for any other disease, okay, if you have cancer and you go and this treatment doesn't work, they're going to try something else. They're not going to keep sending you to have the same treatment over and over and over again and say, let's hope this time it works. Because at some point in time, you have to try something different.
Right.
And this is what I'm doing now. And you know what? Now it's been 4 years since I had a needle in my arm. Like shit like that. It's so mind blowing. Maybe that's your story. Maybe that's your truth, or maybe that's a truth that you've been fed from somebody else. But the fact of the matter is, that's not my truth, and that's not the truth for thousands of other people. And like with the with the 420 recovery stuff, couch, smoke this joint and think about it. If you really want to leave, I guarantee you at least 50% of them would not fucking leave. I guarantee it.
No, they would be high. They'd be like, all right, I'm good.
All right, I'll
do a pizza. I'll stay here, but you have to supply me with food.
Yeah.
And I 100%, like, I actually got chills when you were talking. I 110% agree with almost everything. I do think that when we're first recovering, like during those hard detox times, yes, we should be given a little bit of THC and a little bit of CBD, because it really did help me. Yeah. My sister also did it. have a few other friends that did it. We were told that we were doing a cross addiction, and we were just now addicted to the cannabis. And I remember this guy who was doing it, and I was like Miss AA at the time, and I was like telling him like, you can't smoke and be clean, blah 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 blah, and doing that whole judgy McJudge sort of thing. And he just flatly said, this isn't going to kill me.
Right.
My drug of choice will. I need to do this just like I need to have my coffee in the morning, just like I'm going to have a cigarette with it, just like I'm going to eat breakfast. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's true. And I just remember sitting in front of where we had our meetings and like, yeah, you're right. So it was like I had been in AA and NA since I was like 17. And so it was like 3 years. And my sponsor had even had 17 years of clean time. Her wife had like 22 years. She went back up to Boston where her family was from, totally blew it all. Never smoked weed though during her recovery, never did anything, like stuck to the plan, did what she needed to do, was a sponsor, worked with the programs, worked in the programs, and she still went back out.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, well, you can't really blame it on the weed then. Yeah. So that's why I guess that's the only thing I wouldn't necessarily agree with, but I totally see where you're coming from also, because you don't want to like throw a newbie who's like getting clean and just, yeah, go get some weed, see what happens.
But like when it comes down to detox, if they could go to a medical detox, then absolutely, but yeah, you never know. And here's the thing, like, I don't know, because it's never happened to me or anyone that I know. But the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't want it to set somebody off and then they're just like, fuck this, and they go get their drug of choice, because that's what you're told is going to happen time after time after time. That's like drilled in your head. So it's almost like, I remember when I would be in the program and I would relapse. I didn't even think about smoking a joint, because I'm like, if I'm going to get kicked out of my sober house, if I'm going to lose it all, I'm going to go shoot some dope, because that's what I like. That's what's going to happen to me anyways. That's where I'm going to go, blah, blah, blah. And, you have to wonder. I mean, yeah, chances are I probably would have just gone and shot some dope anyways. But, who knows if it was because of the narrative that was in my head that if I do this, then this type of thing. It's just, I don't know. It's whack.
That is actually, that's a really good point. And I definitely, yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because
and he went to high sobriety, but it's actually like a sober living facility. So it's not actually a rehab. I don't know if maybe now they have a rehab part, but when he went, it was just sober living. So like they would have, their, and I want to say they could just vape, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't really remember, but I know that like there was like a sober house that was like affiliated with across the street that didn't use plant medicine. And then there was like one right across the street that did. But I think in a rehab sense, oh man, because think of how much like traumatic shit that you're thinking about and doing in rehab. And then you got to deal with all of this stuff and process all this shit. You have all these people trying to figure out why you used and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, I mean, to just be able to smoke a joint afterwards. And like, here's where I always struggle. This is where I always struggle. And tell me if like this, I mean, even for anybody, it's like, I rely on weed. I'd say I'm dependent on weed. Is that bad? Is that a bad thing? Because I am technically, but if I don't have it, have I gone days without it? Absolutely. Has anything bad happened to me? Not at all. I might have been a little bit bitchier. I don't really know. But I didn't go through withdrawals. I didn't try to rob the lady down the street to get money for it. Like there was none of those type of thoughts went through my head.
I have so many thoughts.
Is it bad? Is it bad that, and like, I struggle with this all the time. It's like, is it an issue? I don't know.
Yeah. I have lots of thoughts. Okay. So do this. Okay. So for me, am I dependent on cannabis? I am no more dependent on cannabis than I am caffeine.
True.
If I don't have caffeine, I will physically shut down. I will have a headache. I will be really cranky. I'll be so bitchy. I won't be able to function. I won't be able to think. Yeah, I'm definitely more dependent on caffeine than anything. And I don't actually even have a lot of caffeine anymore. So, and then also, are you dependent on your Zoloft? Like, do you have to take your anti-anxiety medication? Do you have to take your antidepressants? Do you have to take your cholesterol medication? Do you have to take your diabetes medication? Just like all of those things, cannabis is the same for me. And that is how I view it. If I'm not going to feel guilty that I have to take my vitamins every day, I'm not going to feel guilty that I also need to take a little bit of THC and CBD every day.
Right.
Because that is, for one, keeping my thriving going on. I'm not surviving. I'm like thriving and living and being able to just, be me.
Adult.
Yeah, because realistically speaking, without cannabis, I already have a lot of issues. I have a lot of trauma, personality issues, brain issues, autoimmune issues.
Yeah.
There's already a lot of shit going on. So I equate it to medication. I know some people equate it to like coffee, and even some people equate it to booze. I actually don't equate it to booze because I have a different standard for alcohol. Alcohol is a poison. You shouldn't really be like over consuming. If you do over consume, you need to have a little break afterwards. Like, there's a lot of other issues that go along. If I drink too much coffee, I might have a little jittery heart rate. I'm not going to black out though and like be comatose
in the corner.
Yeah. So it's a little different. I equate alcohol as the same as like opiates. I really do.
Yeah. Alcohol is a drug. It is.
Yes, I really do think that those are more equal than like Xanax and cannabis, like that. And well, not Xanax, let's say illicit hard drugs like heroin or something like that.
It could kill you.
Yeah, it is.
It's something that can kill you.
Yes, alcohol can kill you. But everyone's like, hoorah, booze, yay!
It's all good.
Yeah, like let's go out for mimosas. Let's also drink every night. Let's do this. Let's do that.
But don't smoke because you're gonna be a horrible person and hurt somebody.
But even like, let's take away the smoking part, right? Where we're like, we are harming our lungs when we inhale smoke, regardless, no matter what kind of smoke. But what if you're just using tinctures? What if you're just using like 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams of THC?
Right.
What if you're using CBN or THCA? If you don't heat up THCA, it doesn't even give you any psychoactive effects.
Yeah.
So you still get the properties of the plant that have anti-inflammatory. It definitely helps my brain. It helps my anxiety. I've been on so many different pills for so many different things. And I'm not going to sit here and say that cannabis is like a cure-all, end-all, be-all, but it definitely helps.
So within that with those 2 years, like I got like a one-on-one therapist and was like going to therapy every week, and I was still getting high. So I was lying all the time and I really wasn't honest, and it just, it just was not a good experience. Did more just like in-house therapy that you have to do in rehabs and stuff like that. And then it wasn't until actually my husband got out of prison and we were really trying, like I went to therapy by myself on my own for myself. And that was the first time I had ever done that. Usually it was either because of court or because of detox or because of my parents or something. There was always some external reason for me going to therapy. It was never because I wanted to fucking go to therapy.
Forced there.
So it was amazing how well it worked when I wanted to be there and actually try to fix some shit about myself. And I would smoke before I went. And I felt like I was able to receive things better, and I felt like I was able to put myself, in the situations where you're having to, think of it from the other person's point of view. I was able to do that a lot easier when I had smoked a little bit before versus when I would go and not smoke before. It was harder for me to do any of those type of exercises, like the cannabis really does, like, at least for me, help me think about things in a less like selfish way, to be honest. I'm able to think about other people a lot easier and better, and it just kind of comes naturally. Well, it's THC induced naturally, but versus like if I'm trying to do that in a situation where I feel like I've been wronged, like, fuck no, I'm not gonna listen to how you fucking feel because you fucked up, not me. But with the weed, I can be like, all right, well, I guess like I don't like that too, but so yeah. So basically just regular, like what if you were to call a therapist and make therapy type of therapy is what I went to, like, which is the cognitive behavioral.
Yeah, CBT is definitely another really good therapy. Narrative therapy usually will incorporate a little bit of CBT and DBT. Sometimes you can go to trauma therapy and they'll specifically work with like DBT and EMDR, and those things. And I did that for like a year and a half. And I had to relive trauma that I had like suppressed, like sexual abuse at like 5 years old, that I like did not tell anyone about for like, until I was an adult and getting ready to have my own kid and blah, blah. And I could not even talk about that without crying, or especially not in like normal conversation, how I'm just doing it, and like not even picturing it until I'm like actively, and even trying to picture it, it's not as clear anymore. And yeah, so if I would not have had cannabis, I hate to say this, I don't think that I would have made it through. Like, oh, geez, it was hard. It was so hard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, and definitely like I knew cannabis helped because I had detoxed with it. And that was the whole reason why I started smoking, was because it was like hard to detox at 16. And yeah, it was rough. It was real hard. And I remember just being so sick, so sick. So thank goodness I started smoking then. And then I loved smoking. I was like, why did I do any of that other stuff?
I know.
I feel now. I was like, again, late, but now I'm like, why did it take me this long to do this? I might not be as
yeah, I'm like, no, I am good. And then CBD, I'm like, why did I wait so long to try that?
Because people would be like, you don't feel it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not spending money on it.
So I noticed, I wanted to just bring up the Narcan thing because that was like mind-blowing to me. Okay, so I saw on your page you had a post where you showed that you carry Narcan with you, and I just have never been through addiction like that. So I was gonna be like, is that normal? And
I know she told me.
I'm so out of it.
She's like, yeah, she has Narcan. She like carries around Narcan, and I was like, yeah.
Anyone who has been affected by a deadly overdose carries it, or at least would like to.
Yeah,
that's what I told her. I was like, you're not a drug addict, obviously.
Yeah.
Good for
so
you.
Like, I think it's not on your radar because like you have, like we've like, not to keep bringing up my husband. I talk about my husband, but
no, that's okay.
Like he's from a big family, and like he's literally lost 5 siblings. Like 5 of his siblings are dead. That like it could have been a preventable death for all of them had somebody been there with Narcan at that point in time. Like 2 of them were just fucking left for dead, but like had people actually had Narcan and like used it, like there's a pretty fucking good chance they'd still be alive. Like I wouldn't have had the opportunity to have the life that I have now. And like my dad used to always say, like through all the shit, my dad was like the one person who just like never gave up on me. And he said, as long as you're, I'm gonna cry. He said, as long as you're alive, like there's still hope, and it's so fucking true. It's like, because there is no hope when you're fucking dead. And it seems like there's no hope when it's been 10 years and you're still on fucking drugs and you're still relapsing. And it seems like you're never going to get it. But at some point, like you either get it or you die, so but like that's a 50-50 shot in the end. Like you're either going to die from this or you're either going to get clean, and so that Narcan can, for some people, they don't, like, that's the wake up call they need. For some of us, we Google how long we have to wait till afterwards, but for some people, that's that thing that they need in like life. There's no coming back from death, and that's why like Narcan is so fucking important, because some of these people just need another chance. Maybe it's their millionth chance, but maybe that's the chance that they fucking need, so you just never know when you have someone's last chance fucking in your pocket. Yeah, but it makes sense, like if you're not in the world, like think about it, like it's not a joke, but it's kind of a joke how we have like funeral, like a section of our closet is like funeral and wake clothes, because there was just like a period of time where we were just like, it was like every weekend it felt like we were going to a different wake or a different funeral from an OD. But it's like, if that's not like your life, if you're not like doing that, then I think it's starting to get talked about more now, and like now you know about it and everything, but it's one of those things that unless it affects you, you really don't come across it, and that's what's unfortunate, is that a lot of people don't experience it until it's too late, until their kid has been using, and like they thought like, oh, like my kid would never do that, like it's like always that it'll never happen to be not my kid, like all that kind of shit. Like my mom was the fucking PTA president, like there was like no, like, and it just go like my husband's family, sorry to my mother-in-law, but like you can see where they would be drug addicts, not like in a mean way, but kind of like, not in a mean way, but kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like you would be like, oh, like that makes sense. Like with my upbringing, like you would be like, really? Like that doesn't make sense.
No, I get it, because with my upbringing, yes, you can clearly see why me and my sister struggled with drug addiction. I really do get it, I promise.
Yeah. So, but it's like then those worlds collide, right? Like now my little fucking, perfect on the outside household is now like my I'm hanging out on the wrong side of town and doing all these things, and now I'm like married to like that guy that you would never think that I would be married to, type thing. And but it just goes to show you that it really does, like, and it can affect anyone, and it can literally start as innocent as having super strict parents and wanting to party and not wanting to get in trouble and be grounded again. Like it goes to show you, like, you can have, it's like one extreme to the other. I feel like if people like hover too hard, it's kind of, and then if there's no supervision and just like nothing and anything goes, then anything fucking goes. It's crazy.
As an adult. Anything else you would like to elaborate on sober living?
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, you have good sober living houses and you have bad sober living houses. You have sober living houses that operate like, like you said, where, you do have to do the chores and do everything you're supposed to. Then there's sober houses that are just free for all, and just the owner is just trying to collect a check, and, people are getting high all the time. But the point of a sober house is absolutely supposed to be like the bridge from rehab to society. So it's like, it's where you get a job, like you do all this stuff that the goal is to like save money, build up money, and eventually live like a normal person outside. It's like that stepping stone to real life between rehab and real life.
Yeah, and like some of them you'll have to pay rent, you'll have to have a job, you may have a curfew, depending on the house, it might be strict. You might have like time period where if you're not there, you get locked out, your bed gets taken away, you lose your spot, you get your shit, and then you leave. Some of them you have, a window of opportunity where you have to do X, Y, and Z and show that you can be trusted and blah, blah, blah. You most likely are definitely going to be taking drug tests. You are every day, possibly, definitely once a
lots
week.
Lots of peeing in a cup. Lots of peeing in a cup.
And they will watch you. They will literally sit there with you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what does your shirt say?
Oh, it just says bake.
Mine's peace, love, and cannabis.
Oh, and yours says indica.
Indica.
Yeah.
Oh,
How cute.
you're such a good
Okay.
little pothead.
Yep. Anything else now?
What's your favorite strain?
Yeah. This time on Mondays usually works, so just let me know.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your
Yeah,
thank you.
struggles.
Thank you so
and
much for asking me and having me on. Thank you.
For anyone out there, please grab some Narcan for
Yes.
one. And don't treat the addicts like they're throwaway people, because they are someone's people, like very important people in their lives.
Yeah.
So that's just the only takeaway I would like everyone to take.
Totally. Absolutely.
And yes, we will see you later.
We'll definitely
Yeah.
see you
All right.
soon.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, I never know how to do this.
I don't either. I don't even know how to edit. I know. I'm just like, ah.